just like the way that we ride. I wanna keep you around. Every single day, every night. I wanna let you know that I'm down. Down, 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 down. I just wanna keep you around. And every single day, every night, I wanna keep you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Harris Hope and Humor.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone,
Go!
welcome back to Harris Hope and Humor, where we share our lives as an interracial couple. So today we are going to do a Q&A. We got some questions from our followers about Leon's upcoming surgery.
So just to recap, it's been a minute. We've kind of been inconsistent with updates. Last year, I developed a pressure sore, a stage 4 pressure sore on my right hip. And basically, a pressure sore is it's a symptom and a problem that happens with people in wheelchairs. You get them from scratches, tears, and basically the body can break down. The skin breaks down and the muscle breaks down, and it goes from stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 is the worst. It's basically almost to the bone. 2019, I had one on my left hip that healed fairly easy. Just trying to offload and not put pressure on the left hip. I was laying on the right hip, and that's how I obtained the right hip one. And last year we knew that this surgery could be a possibility. I was told that I wasn't, as long as I wasn't getting sick, I could kind of put it off and see if we could use the wound vac and nutrition as a way to heal it up, and none of those worked. So we are now at the flap stage of stage 4 to heal it up. And it's not abnormal. A lot of people have been through this. It's just something you have to deal with.
So one of the first questions that we got was, is this a hip surgery / replacement?
I don't think so.
So it's not a hip replacement. That also answers the question of whether, well, let me back up. The surgery is called saddle.
It's called a girdle stone. It was supposed to be a girdle stone. I don't know if it's still
girdle stone procedure. So from what we understand, from what we were told by, which I feel like, I'm trying not to make this a long video, but it is a lot of information to digest. I'm probably going to write a blog post about this. So Leon was seeing a surgeon at one hospital. Time progressed. We weren't making progress with that surgeon. We went to another surgeon that was recommended, highly recommended from my coworkers within our system. She's the one that did the latest procedure on him to kind of clean out the wound so we can kind of start again with the wound vac. And she's also the one that made the decision to kind of say, I think this is out of our realm. I think now it's time for you to start over at University of Penn's hospital system, because they're are more known in this area for research. They see a lot more, they do a lot more. They're just a bigger city hospital system as opposed to where we have been going. And she has affiliations there, so she kind of knows more people. Mm-hmm. So that's how we were kind of like where we are now. What the orthopedic surgeon explained was that they're going to basically remove part of the bone that is where the infectious source is, to get rid of the infection altogether. And then there's going to be a second surgeon that's going to come in, who's a plastic surgeon, who's going to close up the wound. And so the surgery is basically, somebody was like, this sounds like a Grey's Anatomy episode. It's like a twofold surgery. They have to coordinate between the two surgeons a date because their specialties are different. So the orthopedic surgeon, Leon's going to actually go, we don't have a date, so that answers that question. We don't have a surgery date as of right now because unfortunately,
I'm going to say my new toothbrush, and I'm going to say like
unfortunately, due to the weather changes, we had to reschedule his CAT scan, which will give them more information to give them a better idea of how much of the bone they need to remove. So that's going to happen today, the scan. But because it's also 2 different hospital systems, we have to get the actual disc and have that sent to Penn so that they can review it, and with the hopes that it'll give them enough information about what to anticipate going into the surgery. I anticipate that they won't really have much of a definitive answer for us until they actually put him on the table, because I think the MRI would be the best way to find out
what's going on inside the head.
What's going on inside.
Turn that off.
Turn it off.
It's too loud.
It's too loud. Come on. That would be the best way to know what's going on inside of the hip. But Leon unfortunately can't have an MRI done due to bullet fragments still being in his body. So there's already been some deterioration within the hip.
And the pelvis.
In the pelvis, but they're also trying to salvage the pelvis by removing as much as they can from the hip, and they're going to put in antibiotic pearls, which is basically sounds like they're just going to sprinkle antibiotics right on that bone so that it can kill off whatever's still remaining. And then once they close it up, hopefully this will be the end of it.
Yeah. So
that's what orthopedic does. And then plastic surgery will basically take this tunnel, this wound that's like an open hole from the outside of the skin to where the bone comes in at. That's like pretty much like a tunnel, and it has like various tunnels to it. And they'll take muscle from either his thigh or his butt to fill that hole. Leon's hoping that he can decide where they're taking this muscle from, but we actually didn't even think to ask him that question when we talked to him. So recovery, that was another question. How long is the recovery? So he'll be in the hospital for 5 days post-surgery, and then there's an additional, we'll say, minimum of 5 weeks. Oh, yeah, because he said 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, I'm assuming the first 5 days will be like a week. And then so minimum 4 to 6 weeks that he is to be on bed rest. So we have to do a lot of rearranging, a lot of figuring out how to make this all work, because that's a little over a month that the guy
that can't walk is not even getting in the chair.
Yeah, he can't really get up. He won't be able to get up to do much of anything. He can do very minimal transfers to his chair to do the minimal, like the things that they expect him to do: feed himself, go to the bathroom. So he's okay with him doing those type of things, which is actually like a load off of my shoulders, like a smidge, because he can actually kind of get up and do some stuff. So yeah, I'm anticipating a very interesting recovery period, because now I'm juggling. I will be juggling all of him and all of her. Okay. We did get a question about prosthetic hip, if that was an option based on how much they may have to take out. We did not get an answer for that question. We actually didn't even ask that question, because I think at this point it's just too many things that we don't know to be able to know whether or not that's an option. But I will remember to answer that question if it comes up again, or if it's something that happens. I think I'm gonna probably have to kind of just keep you guys updated as things are progressing, as opposed to doing like a whole nother video. I can definitely get in touch with the people that actually ask these questions. But I can just kind of put them on Instagram and Facebook as things progress as well, if other people are interested in the answers. So I think the last question is, are you guys nervous about the surgery?
I'm not nervous about the surgery. I'm more nervous about the recovery. Surgery is what it is. I like the nap. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice long nap.
Yeah, I for some reason I get excited about anesthesia. Not excited, it's just something different. I don't know. The recovery is the more nerve-wracking part to me.
Am I nervous? Yes and no. I'm nervous because Penn is new and I can't go with him because of COVID. So that makes me a little apprehensive, because I believe in patient advocacy, and so to not be able to kind of like advocate in the avenue that I'm like used to doing is going to be a bit of an adjustment for me. But I also feel like you don't hear terrible things all the time about Penn, so then I'm not nervous in that aspect. That I think he's where he needs to be. The surgeon was recommended by his previous surgeon and also by somebody else, a fellow WAG who has gone through this whole process as well. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. I am kind of like mentally ready for the recovery phase. I think like I'm anticipating what all I need to consider with my day in and day out. I'm trying to think of ways to prepare. I am trying to remember to lean on my help, so I don't feel nervous about the recovery part of it. But I also kind of like, I think I need to like bring myself down a notch. That I'm like, all right, I'm game, I'm ready. But then I'm like, yo, this is like not one day of this. You're talking like weeks of day in, day out, trying to keep it cool with juggling everything. So I think I'm more nervous about like that, because I just want to make sure like I'm in a good headspace. He is as well. And then she is also in the midst of everything that's happening. And so what does that mean for her as a kid who can't process a lot of like the bigger thoughts and feelings and emotions? So she's going to go from like him not being here for 5 days, which is forever to a kid her age, to weeks of what our routine has been being completely different. And then also I'm going to be home, so I'm not going to be working during this time frame. So that's a whole nother thing for her. That's going to be an adjustment for her to see me every day, which I'm sure she'll love. But then when it's time for me to go back to work, that's probably going to be interesting. So yeah, I think we'll just stop so that this doesn't become super duper long. But as always, we will keep you guys informed, and yeah, we'll keep you guys posted as we learn things, as things progress, and as things change. We appreciate you guys asking questions and being interested and caring enough about what's happening in our world. So until next time, bye.